Hey guys, welcome back. In the previous video, we managed to install and configure and also do the migration in Prisma. This time, we'll continue the installation in parts of the requirements in creation of our CRUD API. So let's start. For these requirements, we're going to install these three lines here. First is the express.env. Second is the nodemon and concurrently. And the last one is the TypeScript version of Express as step. So let's start. Next, we're going to clear this up. Then we're going to execute the second line. All right. Next, we're going to clear this up once more. Then we're going to install the third line. And there you go. Next, we're going to set the structure of our code. So let's start. From here, let's create a new folder. And I'm going to name that as src or source. Then within the root, let's create a new file. Then I'm going to name that as index.typescript. So for now, we're just going to leave this as blank. Then inside the source folder, we're going to create a new file. And I'm going to name that as app.typescript. Then inside the TypeScript here, we're going to create a class. Let's begin by typing class app. Then let's export this one. Next, we're going to import now the express. So from here, we're going to assign a variable and declare that as a public. And then we're going to call that express and set to application. Then next to here, we're going to assign a constructor. Then we're going to call the app declaration itself. Then for this to trigger outside, we need to call or create a function. I'm going to name that a start. Next, we're going to create a variable that we'll call globally. And for that variable, we're going to assign the port. So let's assign that in our .env environment. So let's start. From here, I'm going to assign a variable named server port, and I'm going to assign that in port 4000. And also I'm going to label that so that we will know that difference or what's the purpose of this variable here. Let's save that. Then head back to our app.typescript. Then from here, we need to call the following. First, we need to import the following package, which is the .env. Next, we're going to import also the path. Next, on this next section, we're going to reconfigure the environment path because there were cases that the variable or the variable assigned in our .env won't reach onto the below or the bottom section of our code. So to solve that issues, we need to reassign the path. And this time, we need to make sure the path is on the specific location. So let's start. From here, let's call the .env.config. And then we're going to assign the path. Next, we're going to set now the path location. From here, let us call the package path. Then we need to join this path in this section here. Next, once we're done, let us configure now our public start. Then from section here, we need to assign the app and act or set up the listening port for the entire system. Make sure you type the correct server variables. So from this point here, we set up as server underscore port. So as you recall, this is the server port that we assign in our .env in this section here. Okay, let's continue. So just our demo, we're going to assign that in a console log. and we need to set a message that if the server is running, it will read this section here. I'm going to copy this one here and paste it here. I think we have some codes in this section here, so let's fix that one. All right, so that's it. Next, we'll configure now the index.typescript by calling this class up here, which is assigned under source folder. So let's start. So take note, this is written on the top root. Then from here, we're going to import that class itself. And to do that, let's type import app, and we need to get that source from our location inside source folder. And from here, I'm going to assign a variable. Then from here, let us call that function, which is the start function. Now, as you recall, these were all created inside the source, the app.typescript. Now, let's check that. From here, you see the class app. And this start function, if you head back in there, that's under this section here. At this point here, our basic code is ready. Next step, we need to configure, because right now we're running, or our code was written in TypeScript. Now, for that to convert into readable JavaScript, we need to configure that in our package.json. So let's start. So this is our package.json. As you can see, all our dependencies was saved in this section here. So we have the dep and the dependencies itself. Now, on our examples, let us modify only this section here. So to do that, let us examine the configuration for this part. Now, to replace that part, focus this three line. We have the build, which is converted the TypeScript, and the start, which is the auto setup or the auto run, which is located or we set up in our destination folder, and the dep, wherein we assign the concurrently, which is the continuous running, and also the we set up the watch for the NodeMon. So this is a combination of two package in this section. So NodeMon will auto run once you have some modification on your code. All right, so let's start. So let's replace that in this section. Let's save that. All right, so once you're done in this section here, let's try running our code. All right, as you can see, since we're running the concurrently, this is how the concurrently works once you run the system. So let's uh, increase this one here. All right, as you can see, our code now is working. So once you see this message, which means that your setup here is already configured. Now notice on the left portion here, once this code was executed, it will auto-generate the this folder section. A while ago, I did some tests. So right now, we already have the this folder. But if you're on the starting process, it will cause a little bit error. So try to notice that on your section. So there might be an error during running. For better understanding, let us review our settings a while ago. I should recall I discussed this dist folder. Now, if you watch carefully on the first video, we assign that in our TypeScript config.json. So here we assign the output directory, which is a dist. So that's why when during the time we do the compilation, it will auto-generate the folder. So that's how the auto generation starts. So that's, as you can see, we automatic compile that into TypeScript. So whatever will be the location, it will automatically create the folder. Now for better understanding, I'm going to delete this folder here. Okay, so let's try rerun this code. Then see how does this code will take effect. So let's run again, npm run dep. There you go. It will execute the concurrency section. So this is the section of the error that I am telling about. So just wait. It will try to reconfigure the process. And there you go. Notice on the left corner, it will create the dist folder. See here? Now, to avoid this, or if you found this scenario, just rerun the code. I think that's the best way so that you will, it will clean up those errors. Although it will auto rerun once you modify your code. So that won't be a problem. So let's try now by rewriting or rewrote or running again our code. So from here, observe how the codes or the execution will be displayed this time. And there you go. So a while ago, it just error because it's trying to look for the source location. So that's it, guys. On the next video, let us continue now the configuration or in the creation of the group. All right. So once more, if you found this video informative, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. and see you guys on the next video series. Cheers!